I finished 5 more cards from the Granny Square card deck, and I'm here to share them with you for Granny Square Sunday. And let's just say they were a challenge. What did I do? What is that? I think I did it wrong. Hey, it's Tammy, Crafty Mompreneur. If you're new here, welcome. And if you're not, welcome back. It's another episode of Granny Square Sunday. Let's see. Do I even know what week we're on? I don't even know, but I think we're on a week. I'll get there. I know. Okay, playlists. We are on episode 4 of Granny Square Sunday. So what is Granny Square Sunday anyways? Well, I'm taking on the challenge to crochet all 50 cards in this card deck. And if you watch this video here, you'll get the whole backstory. When I saw this deck, I thought it was like the coolest thing ever. And now that I have like a real one and not a dupe, why not go ahead and actually crochet all 50 squares? In this video, I'm going to be showing you the 5 cards that I crocheted last week, and we picked them together last week. Then we're going to compare those cards to the dupe deck that I just talked about. And we're going to pick new cards, and I figured out that whole process, and it's going to be a whole lot smoother this time. Then we're going to pick the yarn, show you the 5 projects that are up for consideration for what I'm going to do with all of these granny squares once I get them done. That's what the plan is for today's video, so let's get to it. As a reminder, this was the yarn that we used for last week's squares. I was actually able to fit it all into my happy little box. I want to show you just a few clips of me crocheting these squares, and then I'm going to take you one by one and show you the completed squares. Sound good? Roll the footage. So every week I'm crocheting 5 cards from the card deck, and usually what I'll do is I will pick the easiest one and crochet that one. But my daughter was home from college, and I let her pick which one that I was going to crochet first, and she picked this one. So here is my version. This one is called Popcorn Daisy, and this one, I think it looks pretty spot on, right? I really like this daisy one. I'm getting the hang of the popcorn stitch, so this one was actually pretty easy for me to do this week. Let's see, I don't know which one to share with you next. This one was my next, I would say, easiest, and here's my version. I think it's pretty spot on too. This one's just called Daisy. These two didn't give me any problems this week, and I was pretty comfortable with the stitches, and I think that shows in how well they worked up. But then we started with this whole color change thing, and if you remember last week, I kind of struggled a little bit with last week's squares with the whole color change and carrying yarn and all of that, and I got some great comments on, you know, carrying yarn and how you do them with granny squares. And I think the thing that I struggle with the whole carrying yarn, I understand how to do it, but a lot of times blankets are supposed to be like, you're supposed to hide the ends and stuff. And so I'm going to show you the back sides of of these squares, and maybe you guys that are more experienced granny square makers can give me some ideas on what I'm doing wrong, because I just don't know. Because if it was a blanket and I didn't back it with anything, you would see all these like yarn carries. I'm really gonna put myself out there. So this is a square that I pretty much have made this type of granny square before. And so I'm familiar with how you make it and all of that. What I haven't done is so many color changes, right? You guys probably think I'm crazy, but you have to understand that I'm not really an expert with granny squares. So here's my version. Okay, here's the card. Here's my version. Ooh. So it looks fine on the front, but where I did the color changes, I'm going to show you the back. I'm opening myself up to a lot of criticism here, but I'm trying to learn, okay? So I'm intending to back the blanket, or whatever I do with these, I'll probably do a backing. So I'm not too worried about this right now. But if I was to make a blanket that did not have a backing, what do you do about carrying yarn? Like, see how it I mean, I just ended up tying it off because I'm going to do a backing. But there were all of these things and I felt like I couldn't hide them because I was carrying it to the next row, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know if that makes sense at all. And maybe I just need to look up a YouTube video on how to change colors and stuff. Maybe that's what I should do. But because I know I'm going to back this and I'm going to probably use this on a project that has a backing, I'm not going to worry about it. But if you guys know of a tutorial, or if you have one, like if you're an experienced crocheter and you have one, feel free to drop it in the comments of this video. Like I'm okay with you. I think you could do that. I think you can put links in the comments of other YouTubes, can't you? I don't know. Maybe you can't. I don't even know. But anyway, if you can, color changes on granny squares like this. What do you do about all of this carrying yarn business? If you guys can help me out with that, that'd be great. But anyways, this side looks fine. But the only thing that I don't understand is this one is way bigger. Look at, it's so much bigger. Why? Like, why? I used the same kind of hook and I followed the right number of rows. Like if you count like 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the same. So I'm not sure why this is so much bigger. Anyways, the square's done and I guess that's all that's important, right? At this point. Okay, so that's 3. The fourth one, okay. This one at first glance, it's that same kind of pattern, right? But the color changes. This one though, wait a second. What did I do? I think I did it wrong. What did I do? I think I did the wrong card. Hold on. I don't really have any time to figure this out right now. But I don't know what I did here. Like, what pattern is this? It does not. I completely failed. Like, where did I get this pattern? Like, what is that? That's nothing like the pattern. I am really confused. I don't know what I did. Okay, I figured out what I did. Here's the card, and here's what I crocheted. So I had the yarn colors right, but here's what happened. Is I had no idea what was going on with this whole color change in a diagonal thing. And so what happened was I went to the little granny square booklet that they give you. So this booklet comes with the card deck. And in the section of this booklet, it gives you patterns and detailed instructions on some of the more challenging squares. And so this color change one is one of the ones that's in there. But what is also in there is this is a pattern for a quartered, okay? So I totally misread and I didn't match up the pattern on the back of the card to the pattern in the book. I didn't match it up. And I should have looked at the number of the card because this is card number 10. And I followed the pattern for card number 8. This week I crocheted the wrong pattern. I used the right colors, but I crocheted the wrong pattern. So my bad on that. So this is actually not this card exactly. This is a different one, but I am not going to redo this one because I don't got time for that. But take this as like, whoopsie. Whoops. I don't really like the diagonal color changes. But I do like the square. I mean, it's not this. Oh well. It's fine. Which leads me to the last one. This one was hard. There's always one every week that challenges me to no end. And I will say that this week's cards were a little bit more challenging for me. Obviously, I crocheted the wrong card. Okay, this was the last one. You probably saw this in my footage, but yeah, this one needs to get on one of those square up things, or what is it called? Blocking. This one needs blocking. Look at that, Willy Wonka-ish. What is this? What is this? This is not a square. Okay. Anywho, I finished all 5. Or I finished 5, let's just say that. For the 5 squares. Okay, now we're going to compare the dupe deck cards to the corresponding number on the original. So as you can see, the cards from the dupe deck as opposed to the corresponding numbers of the original deck, they are very different. I have yet to crochet any from the dupe deck. I think I mentioned last week that I'm going to hold off on doing that until I'm finished with all 50 of the original. Let's get to picking next week's cards. But first, let's add these squares to all the rest of them that I have completed already. So here's all the granny squares I've completed for this project already. After somewhat of a disaster last week picking cards, I streamlined the system for this week, and I took some of your guys' suggestions from the comments, and here's how we're picking this week's card. I looked through all of your comments on last week's video, and I wrote down all the numbers that you guys suggested. These are the numbers that were written down. What I did is I went through and I verified that they haven't been crocheted. I think there was maybe 2 that had already been crocheted. And these are the cards that we're picking from this week based on the numbers that you guys put in the comments last week. It's gonna make it a lot easier to pick this week's 5 cards. These are the cards this week, so now let's grab the yarn. I'm storing all my yarn for this project in this little zipper tote. We'll do this card first. This one's for the first card. Card number 2. Weird combination. This one, all these. Looks like on this one I have all the colors already in my bin, so that's good. These, and the last one is this. These. All right, so one last look at the cards for this week and the yarn for this week. And I got it all into my box again. So wish me luck on those. And now it's time for me to share 5 project ideas for what I can use all these granny squares with when I'm done crocheting them all, because I really don't know what I'm going to be doing with all of them. Okay, so it's getting a little bit harder to find ideas, but I did come up with 5 for this week, and so I'm excited to share them with you. This first one I found that uses just one granny square is this cute little gift card pouch. And this actually looks pretty simple. And if you just use it as a gift card and not like a change purse, you definitely wouldn't have to line it or anything. And it looks like you just fold it over. You can also use it to put business cards in. And this one is from Repeat Crafter Me. The next one's a bucket hat. Now, I saw a lot of bucket hats. I was doing a search. A lot of the ones that I found were paid patterns. And so what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to find all free patterns or free tutorials or that kind of thing. And so this is the one that I found from Love Shore. This is, originally I found it on Ribbler, but she also has a YouTube video tutorial. So the YouTube video tutorial is the one that I'm going to share in the description box, but know that she also has this on Ribbler. I really do like Ribbler for crochet patterns because, I don't know, I just like to be able to check off what row that I'm on. So if you haven't checked out Ribbler, I would definitely check it out because I really do like it a lot. And so the next one reminds me so much of my granny because she used to crochet us all kinds of things when I was younger. Probably when I was in my late teens, early 20s, she would crochet for us. And I remember her crocheting like washcloths, like kitchen washcloths. And she also did slippers. Now, she never made slippers that look like this. They were always all just one color. These I found and I was like, oh my God, those are bright, colorful, cheerful little slippers. And then you could line them in like minky. I have minky. Oh, those would be so cozy. Maybe I should do that. Make these slippers and then line them in the minky fabric that I have. I don't know if I've shared this before, but I'm not only obsessed with yarn, but I'm also obsessed with fabric. So I'm trying to come up with ways that I can use both yarn projects and fabric. Because my husband thinks I have too much fabric, which he's not wrong. He's definitely not wrong. I probably want to create a matching pair. I don't know. Tell me in the comments what you think about slippers. And so the next one came as a suggestion in the comments from one of my previous videos, and that is a crochet cardigan. And so I found a free tutorial here on YouTube, and it has a lot of views. Like I'm gonna say over 300,000. And so while I did not actually go through the YouTube tutorial, I figured that if it has that many views on it, it's probably a good tutorial, right? Seems like a kind of a basic cardigan, but I liked that it had a whole bunch of different colors on it, and I think with these granny squares, it could look really cute. I actually did not look to see how many granny squares it would take to make a cardigan, but let me just count real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. It would probably take up a good half of the granny square, so I don't know if I'm going to be making a cardigan or not, but this will be in the description box below in case any of you guys are looking for a free cardigan pattern. This one I saved for the last because this is one I actually may make. I did save the pattern and everything because I'm seriously considering this one. And it's this crocheted granny crossbody bag. And I don't have a bag like this. I think it could be a fun little bag to make because I do know how to line things with fabric. Again, you just heard that I'm kind of obsessed with fabric. So this is from Yarn Inspirations, and it's a free pattern, and it just uses how many granny squares? I don't know how many granny squares it uses. The instructions come with the directions on how to make the granny squares, but I feel like I could probably use whatever granny squares I have for it. And again, I'm looking for projects that have just a few granny squares because I want to be able to use all these granny squares for multiple different projects. That's going to do it for this episode of Granny Square Sunday. I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe because I come out with new videos every Tuesday, Friday, and Sunday. I know it's a lot, but I love YouTube, and my journey here has been so fun. I love reading your guys' comments. And so if you guys would take a couple minutes and maybe drop in the comments what kind of videos you would like to see for me. Like if you have any video ideas, I've got a list of ideas, but I want to know what you guys want so that I can create videos that you guys will enjoy watching, that you'll find helpful, or whatever it is, like whatever kinds of videos that you guys enjoy watching, please drop those in the comments. I could definitely use your help. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.